dealing with Kim, and the CIA would love it if you could take him out.
Boy, what a bad day for freedom.
Take him out.
Voltaire, as they say, is probably rolling around in his grave. Remember the saying, I may disagree with what you have to say, but I will fight to the death your right to say it. A lot of people are saying it's a stupid movie anyway. Doesn't matter. The very fact that we are giving up some of our freedom to terrorism, and you know, but a lot of people, I'm sorry for talking over you, Winston, but a lot of people are also saying, listen, what choice did the theaters have but to pull the interview for safety reasons?
I see both sides of it. Part of me wants to go see it just to, you know, a lot of people want to see it just to say, you know what, we're not going to stand up for this. But I understand why theaters like Cineplex, like some of the big chains in the U.S., AMC, are doing this because of safety. They don't want to risk it. They don't want to put people...
So what are people saying?
So I've pulled some celebrity reaction. I've also pulled some of
let's
viewer
get to
reaction.
our...
Okay, let's get into it. Brad Smith will have some of the celebrity reaction later on. Rachel says, by pulling the film, the bad guys win. Canada is a free country and we should have the right to view the film. #SadDay. So that's one tweet on that side of this story. James says, I think Sony canceling the release of the interview is a good move. Should have never been made in the first place. That was one thing I was having a conversation with someone downstairs earlier. You're poking the bear.
You know what, though? That's what artists do sometimes. And movie is art. So, I mean, there's books out there that talk about fake assassinations. There's a lot of ideas in movies that you might not think are good ideas. That doesn't mean people shouldn't have a right to make those movies. You know what? It's called freedom of expression and freedom of speech. I may not agree with what you have to say. I may not agree with what you have to say. But you know what? Like it or not, there's a lot of movies out there that have really bad premises, or maybe we shouldn't make fun of that. I mean, there's tons of movies about criminals getting the upper hand over police. Correct. You know, maybe those shouldn't be made. It's just a very slippery slope we're going down here by allowing this to happen.
Yeah, that's right. Leanne says there could never be a comedy about the assassination of the American president produced by North Korean filmmakers. What did they expect?
No.
So if you look at it
no, but there has been, and I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this. No, but there have been American movies made about the assassination of presidents.
Okay.
So they've done it themselves. And there might be an outcry, and there might be, the White House might say that's terrible. They would never say, I want you to remove that movie.
How do you think on the flip side, if the North Koreans did make a movie about the assassination of Barack Obama, for example, how do you think the Americans would react?
They would be angry. Yeah. But I do not think the White House would demand that whichever company made it pull it and telling the theaters to pull that movie. Yes, there is still an outrage. And you know what, North Korea, be outraged. If you want to be outraged, that's fine. Yell, scream, send letters, but at the same time, you can't just demand that we don't put movies out, we don't put books out. We have never in our lifetime had to really fight truly for our freedom, and we forget this. We forget about things like book burnings and things like that.
And who sent that Charlie Chaplin picture? Was it Steve Carell?
He had tweeted out about that, and at that time in 1938, just when Hitler was coming to power, the movie companies got pressure from the government not to produce that film. So they dropped it. It was Charlie Chaplin and said, no, you know, this is an important story to tell. So he financed it himself. It went on to be a huge, huge hit. I encourage you actually to go watch that movie. I watched it on YouTube the other night. It's there. It's the first, actually one of the first talkies for Charlie Chaplin.
I'll look it up, and I can even send out a link. But yeah, a lot of people are fighting for the premise. But you know, as Stephen says, what if after all of this fuss, it turns out that the interview is just a bad comedy no one would have seen anyway? Exactly. Because we're giving all this attention to it. Nobody probably would have seen it. It came out on Christmas Day.
Good movie, bad movie, doesn't matter. It's a fact that we have had a little bit of our freedom taken away. And once you take a little bit of your freedom away, it's a very slippery slope. It comes like that. We need to fight for our freedoms. Absolutely. Don't ever take them for granted. It is 6:14 on Breakfast Television. Let's go upstairs. Here's Russ. Sorry, Russ, I was ranting there.
Not to worry. What you said, Kevin, right on.